safely back to base and ready for a feed. Oh, I'm famished and exhausted. Just been keeping a watchful eye on my territory.
Big?
When I say my territory, of course I mean his. That's the new master. We're a close couple. What's his is mine, and what's mine is his.
Michael, have you got my tennis racket again?
And what's hers is ours. That's our sister. Good-natured little thing. Well, most of the time.
Melissa?
And this is our Mum. Mum's a sort of servant. She's up all hours doing things for us. Nothing's too much trouble. And so appreciative of a bit of the blarney.
Here we are. You like that, don't you, Big?
You'd almost think she was canine sometimes. She's so understanding.
Have you taken Big for his walk today, Michael?
I'll do it later, Mum. My knee's playing up. I must have done it in at practice.
I'll get something to put on it.
Yeah.
Make sure it's the right one. It was the other one this morning.
Oh, terrible, isn't it? 2 injured knees.
They say the Monticute men have never been robust.
That's the high and mighty Mrs. Catelby, cat lover. She's a grand lady around this neck of the country. Owns most of it. And she's taken quite a shine to Mum. And Mum's cooking.
You're so lucky having a wood stove, Ella. Nothing cooks like a wood stove, so I've been told.
And by crikey, nothing smells like Mum's sausage rolls. Sorry, Mrs. K, but I can't help myself.
No, not so big!
You can say what you like about Mrs. K, but she's always been a good provider. Which is more than you can say about the old master. The old master. My goodness, that seems a long time ago. I know a dog should be man's best friend.
Go away.
But it wasn't easy with a master like old miser Monticute. You know what misers are?
A miser is one who hoards wealth and lives miserably in order to increase his hoard.
That's our cousin Mordred. Bit of a smarty pants, if you ask me.
Also, in a broader sense, an avaricious, grasping person, unniggard.
Fancy talking about your grandfather like that, especially your late grandfather. Which brings us back to that fateful night. If Mrs. Catelby hadn't rearranged a schedule in order to take that good-for-nothing cat of hers for a manicure, it might well have been another typical quiet evening at home. Just the old master, the faithful dog, and of course the cockroaches. But fate was riding in the car that evening, even as the old master was sneaking in his befores and innocently pursuing his favorite hobby.
10, 60.
Oh, don't worry, sweetie. Mummy won't be long.
I could sense drama in the air. Well, I could sense something, and it wasn't just Meals on Wheels. When you've got a heathen cat on your territory, you're inclined to forget that the master keeps his money box on the top shelf. And even for a dainty creature like me, a chair's a mighty easy thing to bump into.
Nice of you to come. Very nice funeral, Ella. I'll see you at the office.
Not many people, though, Mortimer.
Quite a good turnout, considering father wasn't a well-liked man. Huh, surprised the dog came.
That's Mortimer Monticute, the wicked uncle the cat lady calls him.
Ah, Mrs. Kettleby.
I'm absolutely appalled, Mr. Monticute, the way you're taking advantage of your late brother's children, especially as they spent their last cents getting here from the other end of the country.
Well, I did my best to stop them.
So the solicitor tells me. You tried to bribe him not to tell them about the will.
Well, it's all settled now.
Very much in your favor. You took all the cash that was in that box, and the row of shops, and the bank accounts, and all they got was that tumble-down old ruin.
And me? Oh, and of course the buried treasure.
Buried treasure?
That's only a local legend, children, not to be taken seriously. An old house like this is bound to attract stories like that. There's even a tale that Murgatroyd Montague, who built this place, was really Captain Full Moon the Bushranger. Imagine.
Imagine. Buried treasure.
Oh, don't be so dramatic, Father. I never mentioned buried treasure. I simply stated that after going through Grandfather's books, I have come to the inescapable conclusion that there is a considerable sum unaccounted for.
Considerable sum.
And Grandfather, being a miser, has obviously hoarded it somewhere.
In the old house.
That would be a logical explanation.
Good. I'll find it if I have to pull the place apart. Stone by stone, brick by brick, beam by...
You can't do that, Father.
Not by myself. You'll help, of course.
But it's not your house. You gave it to Aunt Ella, remember?
Let that be a lesson to you. Never give way to generous impulses.
In exchange for what seemed to be more valuable assets, you wouldn't have a leg to stand on in a court of law. But you can get a second opinion if you wish.
Silly child. No intention of doing anything within the law. So now the wicked uncle and our peculiar know-all cousin have mounted an expedition to hunt for the buried treasure that rightly belongs to us. Unfortunately, we're not getting much assistance. Mum doesn't believe in the treasure, and Mrs. K says it's just a fairy tale. But things, you might say, are beginning to look up in that direction.
I trust, madam, you carry adequate insurance. Just look what your vehicle's done to my car.
I won't go into details, but suffice to say that I think we can count Mrs. K on our side. And with her brawn, and the master's brains, and me managing things, I think we can predict a satisfactory outcome to the forthcoming Battle of the Monticutes.